Some people see this certain image of what they feel like they have to be a spiritual woman, when in reality it's really about the relationship and making sure you walk right. Yeah, you have to turn away from these temptations and turn away from these ungodly things or whatever, but once you become awakened to all that stuff, you don't even want that, you know, because you love yourself more than that. You care about yourself more than that. You respect yourself and your body more than that, to even want to delve into those things. You know what I'm saying? You stop listening to certain stuff because it irritates your spirit. You don't hang around certain people anymore because they don't love you the way that you love yourself. It's just like letting go of all the things that people typically don't want to let go of in order to follow God. Once you really open your eyes and really look around, you don't want to have nothing to do with that stuff anyways. Hey y'all, what's up? My name is Gabby. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. So y'all know over here we be talking about spirituality, we have life talks, and we talk about self-improvement. And one thing I have realized in the self-improvement community, especially among black women, is just that it doesn't seem like there's a lot of black women in the self-improvement arena anyway, but the ones that are don't seem to live like a godly spiritual life. And I mean, you know, people can do whatever they want to do, live the life that they want to live, but I think when it comes to you seeing yourself, who you are, and becoming who you want to be, it's really nice to be able to watch a certain type of video or content, or watch a certain type of topic and hear it from somebody who relates to you in certain ways, which is why as a black woman I like to watch other black women as creators. I don't discriminate, and I watch other creators too, and I really don't want to hold myself back in that type of way or stop somebody just because they don't look or sound or come off a certain way or believe a certain thing. But like most things, I think some things just have a limit. And one thing I realized with a lot of these black women, especially on YouTube, I don't know about Instagram because I'm not on there like that for now, and I'm not on TikTok, and I just don't want to get a TikTok. But a lot of these women are into like horoscope type stuff, and they are into like the moon and the stars and sage witchcraft, and they do the tarot cards, crystals and stuff like that. So I'm getting to a place where I don't want to watch stuff like that at all. Like there's a video that had been on my timeline for a long time that had been, well, really just like a few weeks, and it was talking about trusting yourself. And I kind of like feel bad because that's the and it was a black woman, because that's the type of content I'm like, okay, you know, let me see what she's talking about. But I'm always apprehensive when I see those type of videos pop up on my feed, because I'm like, I don't even know what I'm about to get into. But this is like the third time over the past month where I seen a video presented to me by a black woman in the self-improvement space, and I just see the video going up and up and up in numbers, and eventually I choose to click the video. I did this yesterday for like the third time in over a month, and in the first 30 seconds of the video I already knew she was like burning sage and like doing all this and that, and then she said something about Mercury and like retrograde or whatever. And it was crazy because the video I was watching before that is another big YouTuber. She's a black girl or mixed, and she said something about Mercury and like retrograde. I don't know nothing about that stuff, like, and I don't care about that stuff. And it's just like, dang, yo, like, are there any black women out there who care about being better, doing better, but also are God-fearing and praise Jesus as their Lord? You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I am not going to be so naive that I'm just going to deny a gem of wisdom from someone who doesn't believe what I believe. But I also don't want to have a subscription list full of people who don't believe in God, or who just like tiptoe around him. Like there's a creator where she mentions God, but actually a couple of them where they mention God, but I don't like really know, because they also mention the universe. And I believe that there is some people out there who believe that God is all knowing but believe in the universe too. maybe as like a separate entity, and I don't know. But if you ask me, when it comes down to it, God is the most high and the creator of all, meaning that he created the universe and he controls the universe. So if I hear somebody talking about the universe, in my head that's translating as, well, God set up to, the universe to work the way he wants it to work. So at the end of the day, when you calling on the universe, you calling on the creator of the universe, which is God. It's just so crazy to me because, like I was saying, you want to see people who relate. You can watch people who don't completely, because that's just the diversity of being a person. You people at different walks of life, you can learn different things, but when it comes to that, the spiritual realm, you just don't want to whirlwind yourself into the lifestyles and beliefs of other people, because that stuff can subconsciously start embedding and planting seeds in your head. Our mind is like a fertile garden, and we may not even realize it, but hearing certain things constantly and people talking about certain things can start planting seeds in our heads, and one day you could find yourself doubting your situation or doubting God and start moving towards that other stuff. It's like when it comes to God, people just don't see you as you, but also a God-loving person. It's like they expect you to be holy, a messenger of God, a prophet, somebody who teaches the Bible and all of that, or they just expect you to be lukewarm, somebody who believes but still does whatever they want, or you're all the way on the other spectrum and you just don't believe at all. And it's just like, I look at myself and I'm like, I'm a God-fearing woman. I love Jesus and I'm trying my best to walk the straight and narrow path, but I just want to teach people the things that I've learned and how to really self-develop. And my thing is, when it comes to self-improvement, self-development, self-help, you cannot do it without being in that spiritual realm. Like, some things are just so hard that you cannot do them without God. You cannot do them without calling on the Lord. I think life is just set up to be that way, because just imagine if we could do everything and get through all our struggles on our own. We wouldn't need God. We wouldn't need Jesus. So there's certain things that we endure that brings us closer to God at some point. That's why I think so many people find God or go to Christ when they're at rock bottom. It took that long for them to see, like, oh my gosh, I need God. And it just really feels good and reassuring to know that there's a community, not only of people, but somebody that you can relate to out there through Christ, not necessarily trying to preach to you, because when you want that, you know who you can go to. But sometimes we don't want to be preached to. No disrespect, we just want to talk and hear a good word. And it just seems like it's hard to really find that balance. Honestly, it seems like it's not out there. And I know there's so many creators out there, and I just be waiting. I just be waiting to see. And sometimes I be putting in a search bar and like, these people are just non-existent. It just really makes me feel blessed to be here and to be making the videos that I am. And I'm so thankful for all of y'all who come back constantly, or who come back every now and again, or whatever, or whenever, like, just to watch my videos. Like, that means so much to me, and it just makes me know and believe that God is here and he is connecting us, because I just feel his presence from some of y'all when y'all leave certain things in my comments, because y'all confirm things that I've been praying about, or y'all uplift me in times where I'm feeling low about what I'm doing. And it just makes me feel so grateful. So to go and watch another person's video and like, you value what they're saying, but you just don't feel that spiritual connection, you still value the knowledge that you're getting, but you don't really have that, full connection that will bring everything full circle. And it doesn't have to be like that with everybody, and it won't be like that with everybody. But I'm just saying, I just be like, what's going on with the black women? Like, like, do black women just not care about self-improvement, or do they just not have a fire for God, or are they just not at that place in their life? Because I know, honestly, I could say, like, when I was young, I always knew at some point I would like give my life fully to God. But in the back of my mind, it will always scare me, because I'm like, oh, I don't want to be basically like a Jehovah Witness. I don't want to be preaching the Bible to people all the time and trying to force people to go to church and trying to make people be somebody who they don't want to be. I just didn't feel good inside about that. Like, I was like, oh man, I might have a hard time letting go of the music that I like, and oh my gosh, like people probably gonna look at me different and all of that stuff. Like, you should just make me cringe. But it's so funny, because I thought I was gonna make a solid decision when that time came to be like, okay, enough is enough. I'm gonna set all this stuff aside and live my life right. But it's so funny, because it did not happen like that. It's like my heart just gradually opened, and it became ready to be more open to God. That by the time I got to the space where I wanted to get closer to him, I already was done with all that stuff. I was ready to be done with all that stuff. Or my heart was changing to where, even though I still felt a connection to some of these things, I was ready to let them go. And I just never thought coming into a more spiritual place with God and with Jesus would be so open, you know, and I would be so willing to step forward in that. It's like, once you really open your eyes to where you are in life, you just realize how much you messed up, how raggedy you and your life are, and you just be like, it's really nothing for me to hold on to. It's like, it's nothing, there's nothing that I'm going to miss about what I have been doing. And when you really start feeling that love and that peace of God, you just be like, baby, this is where I want to stay, period. And you know, eventually, like, you get to a place where you want to come in congregation, whether that be online or in person, with people that are on the same pathway. You know, you can find a balance in talking about God and Jesus and your Lord, your Savior, but you also have general conversations about leveling up in life and about loving yourself and about family and friends and stuff like that. But you also understand that it's really impossible to have some of these conversations without at least mentioning God. I feel that's where I am. I have these conversations and talk these things out with y'all, and I mention God, because at the end of the day, sometimes you have to, like, he cannot be ignored if you really want to elevate. But at the same time, sometimes you just talk about him because he makes you happy. You know. But it's just so crazy. Like, I was just saying, that video that I decided to watch yesterday, and the girl was burning sage. When as soon as I seen the sage, because it was part of her intro, I was like, oh man. And then I told myself, you know what, I'm gonna just continue and give it a chance, you know. And then a few seconds after that, she said something about the daggone Mercury or retrograde or something. I was like, bruh, like, I just couldn't do it. I had to cut the video off, because I had already watched a video 2 days ago, and it was this woman out on that type of stuff, but she was more so of like, you know, if you believe in God, if you believe in the universe, whatever you believe in, you know, you believe in that, you know. She just kind of had like a humdrum attitude, like, when it came to spirituality. And like I said, there's no judgment here, but I'm just like, dang, what a sister's at, what a sister's at. You know what I'm saying? And like, when I think of somebody in this space that I'm speaking of that I would like to see more, I think of Brittany Lee. If y'all don't know Brittany Lee, which most of y'all probably do if y'all are over here on my channel, she be giving the tea, she be giving the information, like, she be digging deep, talking into healing relationships. And she is also a God-fearing woman, and she is not afraid to talk about Jesus, and I love her for that. You can see that she understands what the foundation of her work is and where she comes from and who she is. She talks about how she knows she is solidified in God, and she is just herself, and she is walking her path, and she's doing her will of God. And it just blows my mind that we not seeing more of that. And just knowing that, I just be like, man, I gotta keep going, like, I gotta keep doing this thing, and I just gotta show up as me and who I am and do things the way God is telling me to do them. You know, when you want to go certain places in your life, it's really, really nice to see someone serve an example of that, for you to be able to see, wow, if they did it, I can do that too. I be thinking that sometimes about Barack Obama. Can you imagine I know he's black and something else too, like he's mixed, but could you imagine how much faith that took, determination that took, hope and love that took for that man to believe and then ultimately achieve being the first black person to be the president of the United States of America. Something that has never been done before. Something that we've never seen. Like he never had anything to, he never had a person to look at to actualize that and be like, he did that, she did that, I can do that too, I'm next. Like, no, he was the first one. As a woman of God and as a black woman, it just puzzles me that there's not more of us out here. There's more than just celebrity gossip and hair and makeup and clothes and shoes and cars. There's just so much more to be talked about than that. And I really hope y'all see that and y'all get that from my videos. I never want to push my beliefs on people. I just want to give the information that God is calling me to give, provide the wisdom that I have, open space for a conversation to be stirred up, or for you to start thinking about certain things in your own life. I don't mind sharing things that I've been through in my life because I've processed most of them already, and I'm not afraid to share, especially if I know that the knowledge I have can help somebody take a step towards healing and being a better person. We have a way to make things look so good from the outside, but people ignore what's really going in, or they just keep that stuff to themselves and want to bury it like it never happened. I was there and I'm no longer there, and I don't want to be there, because if somebody can learn from my mistakes, if they can learn from my hardships, if they can learn from my mess ups and all the times I felt stupid, or I was mindless, or I disrespected myself, or anything in that regard, I'm gonna pray for God to give me the strength to tell it, and to tell it how he wants me to tell it, to help somebody. Everybody is on their own walk spiritually, and I do believe a lot more women are starting to come into this space of wanting to be softer, wanting to be loved properly, wanting good things into their lives, wanting to walk that walk with Jesus, with God. But I think so many of these type of women are still kind of hidden, because when you first start on this walk, it's, oh my gosh, it's so much spiritual warfare. It's stuff that you gotta leave behind. It's stuff that you're struggling to leave behind. You having to create new habits, create a new lifestyle. Some people see this certain image of what they feel like they have to be a spiritual woman, when in reality it's not what in our heads like we traditionally saw. It's really about the relationship and making sure you walk right. It's okay to want things and have desires as long as they're righteous. And when you start spending time more with God and he starts to really tenderize your heart, you will really start to look at the things that you want, or that you wanted, differently. And naturally you will want to start wanting more things that are righteous, that are loving, that are beautiful, that are tender, that give God glory, and that give Jesus glory. I don't have many people around or that I talk to that are moving along spiritually the way I am. I have 2 friends, and they seem to be on this journey of becoming more in tune with God too, and it's really cool to see, you know, because it's a journey for everybody as long as we're moving forward. And it's like, dang, yo, like I never really thought of myself having more spiritual conversations with friends, or meeting more spiritual friends. Not even, like I was saying earlier, to just sit and talk about God, but if we wanted to do that, we would feel comfortable doing that. But here I am though, here I am. And it was kind of scary at first, because it was showing how much I've really been changing inside. But as I continue to grow, it feels good, because I'm like, well, this is what I wanted. I wanted to change inside. And sometimes I think, you know, Some of y'all might already know, but I live in Washington State on the West Coast, but I'm from North Carolina. And sometimes I think like, man, when I move back home to North Carolina, like whenever that may be, people are going to see, oh shoot, like Gabby is not the same person. And that used to make me nervous, you know, because I've had problems with people pleasing and being accepted. But God is continuing to help me and nurture me to be bold in who I am. And if I'm happy being this way, then I'm happy being this way. And whoever repels against what I am, I just have to thank God for that, because it's so easy for people to come in and start manipulating us and planting seeds, even if they're not trying to do that, because that's how the enemy works. He will use other people to distract you and to get you sidelined. And that's kind of what I was hitting on before when I was saying, when you listen to too many of these people that don't believe what you believe. Like one of the creators I was listening to, she was just talking about, she was talking about something along the lines of changing your life. And there was this little point in the video where I guess her environment was uncomfortable. It got really hot, and she was like, Jesus effing Christ. And I was just like, see, that's what I'm talking about. this that bull I'm talking about. Because it's one thing for me to sit here and listen to this girl because she has some wisdom to give, but to sit here and say something like that, you know, that's my Lord and my Savior. So for her to sit there and say that with no regard, like she's just talking in her head. But to me, I'm like, dang, I find that offensive. How am I supposed to sit here and listen to the rest of this video after she says something like that? So it's just like, you can listen to certain people, but at the end of the day, some people don't have any respect for what you believe. They're just talking about what they believe. They don't have any respect for who you praise and who you serve. Or it might not be that they have respect or that they're disrespecting your belief. They're just completely indifferent. Like, they don't think about it because it's not the way they live. And there's only so much of that you should be taking in. I feel like we probably shouldn't even be taking that type of stuff in at all. I know there's something in the Bible that says something about not commingling with people who serve other gods or who don't believe what you believe, but I don't know where it's at for certain. But I know there's something in there that says that. And it's times like that makes sense to me. She probably didn't mean any offense by it, and she was just talking. But that's because it's not her faith. And most people don't think and operate like that already. If you don't have that belief system, people are just so stuck in the mindset of religion that they're not even, they don't even know. Like, it's the main people that scream forget God and all this and this and that they don't even know, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I say that because I didn't even know. That's why I had so many fears of when my time came to give my life to Christ, because I just saw what I saw around in church or whatever, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's what I had to be. But that's not who you have to be. Yeah, you have to turn away from these temptations and turn away from these ungodly things or whatever. But once you become awakened to all that stuff, you don't even want that, you know, because you love yourself more than that. You care about yourself more than that. You respect yourself and your body more than that, to even want to delve into those things. You know what I'm saying? You stop listening to certain stuff because it irritates your spirit. You don't hang around certain people anymore because they don't love you the way that you love yourself. It's just like letting go of all the things that people typically don't want to let go of in order to follow God. Once you really open your eyes and really look around, you don't want to have nothing to do with that stuff anyways. And I don't think people see that. I don't think people really realize that. So whether these black women start arising or not, I just know, I just want to put it out there and tell y'all what I'm telling myself, and be wary, be cautious of the type of content that you're taking in, especially if you're a black woman and you just want to relate to other black women. I saw a video a few weeks ago. It was one of those videos I was talking about that was just constantly going up in numbers. She was talking about how she changed her life or whatever, but she ended up saying towards the end of the video that she was a Christian. She was like, I know, you know, some of you Christians might not agree with this or whatever, but this just is what I did and it worked for me. And she went on to say how she started dibbling and dabbling into new age spirituality, and that's ultimately what helped her get to where she is today. And when I saw that, it just made me so mad, because I'm like, how you call yourself a Christian and you sit here calling people away from Christianity to serve this new age spirituality that is satanic, that is demonic? And regardless if people see it that way or not, even if you don't want to see new age spirituality as demonic, it's still pulling you away from God, and you believe in something other than God to help you and bless you. It's just like, I'm like, man, like, this is the devil working. Like, don't even call yourself a Christian. Don't even call yourself a Christian if you about to sit here and tell people to turn to new age spirituality to get a blessing. It's just stuff like that. It's just like, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? Like, black women have it hard because we're black. You know, we're already black, and then we're women. Put it together, black and women. Like, we have it hard. We already get disrespect as women, and we already get disregarded as being black. So when I see stuff like that, it's just like, man, like, we supposed to be coming together, and we are just planting seeds out here amongst the other black women, where there's not already that many of us that are sitting up top or sitting at a place where we can tell these other black women things or really help them. And here you are sitting up here on your hours telling people to ask the universe, go read a tarot card or whatever. I don't even know. Telling people to go buy crystals and burn sage around your house. It's like, if you gonna believe in that stuff, why not just believe in God? I don't get it. Like, people have so much to say about God, but like, you gonna believe in a rock before you believe in God? I don't get it. Anyway, I don't know. I definitely feel like I started to ramble a little bit, but I hope y'all got the gist of what I was saying. I hope you enjoyed this video. That's all I have for y'all today. I love y'all, and until next time, peace and love. I'm out.